Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from Not the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, Game of Thrones Custom Commanders, a lot of really exciting ones. A massive thank you to the amazing community over at Custom Dragon Highlander for making these cards, voting on them, and determining the top 10 in Game of Thrones. Thank you to Alno for putting this entire thing on. And if you are interested in joining this exciting custom community, make sure you check out that Discord invite link in the description below. And of course, as always, well, exciting custom cards are coming. Let's go! So let's start things off at 10th place from Tubadooter. We have King Joffrey Baratheon. Oh my goodness. A 2/4 human noble in red, white, and black. Commune of upkeep, create a treasure token, and draw a card. Each opponent creates X11 green and white citizen creature tokens for X the number of counters on King Joffrey Baratheon. And this is what Tubadooter had to say about the design. King Joffrey Baratheon is one of the most hated characters of Game of Thrones. As such, I try to give such an iconic character an ability that make your opponents plot your demise. Joffrey makes sure you will be drowning in a wealth of card draw and treasure production throughout the game, while his subjects, your opponents, will be building an army of starving citizens waiting for the perfect moment to rebel. To keep your subjects docile, I recommend a deck built around one-sided Ras to slim the numbers, spot removal, and for extra rebellious ones, protection from those who wish to dethrone you, and finally, aristocrat effects to close out games. Cards like Aether Flash will be critical to keep citizens in line, whereas cards like Blood Artist will help you finish off your opponents. Flavorfully, since we were designing around Game of Thrones, I decided to let the underutilized card, Age of the Iron Throne, guide my design in that regard. Finally, I tried to pick a quote for the flavor text that best represents Joffrey's brutality as a king, taken from a scene in which the king listens to a song, enjoys it, and then randomly decides to punish the bard who sings it. He asks, which do you favor, your fingers or your tongue? His guards end up removing the bard's tongue so he can never sing again, an act of mercy rather than slay him. Yeah, this is a brutally effective and really cool design. Oh my goodness, this really encapsulates, if I could talk, King Joffrey Baratheon, and just what it was in the show. Just, oh my goodness. Hey, look at all the things I have. Bunch of angry people out there. So yeah, hey, a really cool deck could be designed around this one. Congratulations on your 10th place finish, Tubadooter. Next up, though, let's move on to 9th place from Roots of Justice. We have Eddard Stark, Warden of the North, a 4/4 human soldier noble for 5 mana in total in Esper. Eminence at the beginning of your upkeep. If Eddard Stark is in your command zone or on the graveyard, the Monarch loses 2 life for each time it was sent to the command zone from the battlefield this game. You gain that much life. If a spell or permanent controlled by another player destroys Eddard Stark, Warden of the North, that spell or permanent's controller becomes the Monarch. And this is what they had to say about the card. Eddard Stark, Warden of the North, was an experiment in design space I'm surprised hasn't been explored very much, and that's making the Monarch a drawback. I feel like fun games of Commander are in store when Monarch, usually one of the best beneficial effects a player can obtain in the game, instead becomes a hot potato your opponents are desperate to offload onto someone else before your turn. Would recommend having a strategy that involves artifact-based ramp to make sure you consistently play Ned multiple times in a game, and sack outlets to put him somewhere his effect can trigger. Making yourself a risky target by hoarding the Monarch status for yourself is also an option. Just be aware of your own life points if you try, because effect can hit you too. Well, I think this is a really cool design, and I do like that kind of turning it around completely with Monarch. Just, hey, maybe you don't want to be king. Heavy lies the crown. Yeah, you get the benefit, but you also get the target on your back, and you also get this massive effect that can really be detrimental to you. Just so flavorful too, with just, well, yeah, what happened to Eddard Stark. I mean, I guess spoilers in this, but yeah, you can probably just watch for yourself, and you'll find out pretty quickly what happens to Sean Bean. So there you go. Congratulations on your 9th place finish, Roots of Justice. And now we move on to 8th place from Mr. Blim to Tyrion Lannister, the Imp. Here we go. 2/3 human advisor for 4 mana in Grixis. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may draw a card. If an opponent does, they exile a card from their hand at random. Whenever Tyrion Lannister, the Imp, deals combat to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast cards, exile a Tyrion, and spend mana as though mana of any color to cast it. Yeah, this is cool. This is effective. This is just, you know what? Value. Hey, everyone, go ahead and draw a card. You want a card? That's great. If you do, we're going to exile something random for your hand. So sure, you get a benefit, but I'm also getting a potential future benefit because once the imp comes through, I get to actually utilize your effects as well. So kind of turning those around, politicking, utilizing those things. Absolutely love it. Wheel and deal with this commander. Have fun with it. Congratulations again, Mr. Blimp, on your 8th place finish. But now let's move on to 7th place from Nickel Goatloss, love that name, with Gregor Cain the Mountain. Some sick art on that as well. A 4/3 Human Barbarian Knight for 4 mana in total. First strike, trample, boast, red, double Gregor Cain's power until end of turn. I love it. And here's what Nickel Goatloss had to say about the design. I chose Gregor from a random character wheel and got most of my information from a wiki page. I've never read or watched material. First things that caught my eye were how incredibly strong and surprisingly fast it was. First strike is an easy choice, though haste went through my mind too. Trample gets chunked on for playability, and also because Gregor was an unrelenting foe, and there's no way he could get chump blocked. I agree. Boasting is a favorite mechanic of mine. I feel like it fits Gregor pretty well. He gets stronger in the heat of battle and annihilates those in his way. Absolutely, Nickel Goatloss. I love how you took this commander and brought it to life. This character is so cool, and yeah, just unstoppable. Just a force of nature, and one that says, I dare you to block, and even if you do, it doesn't matter. I'm going to run you over. That is a really cool utilization of boast and doubling power. Just even getting a little ounce of power on this. Outside of this, some counters, some equipment on it. Double it even further. Turn it to a 2-shot, 1-shot KO. Good luck to your opponents. And again, congratulations again to Nickel Goatloss on your 7th place finish. Next up, though, we've got 6th place from Ty L with Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, a 1/4 human dragon for 5 mana in total in Naya. Whenever Daenerys enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 red dragon creature tokens with flying. If one or more counters will be put on a dragon you control, that many plus 1 of each of those counters are put on instead. Celestia colors tap, put a +1 counter on each of the 3 target dragon creatures you control. Oh my goodness, I love this design. Let's hear from Ty L on what they had to say about the design. I wanted to make sure to encapsulate the importance of Daenerys raising and training her 3 dragons, and thought what better color and way to do that than Naya dragons and +1 counters. I haven't watched Game of Thrones myself, so I definitely want to thank some of my close friends who watch the show for their huge amount of help. Well, Ty L, you did an incredible job, and absolutely this brings to life Daenerys Targaryen and the 3 dragons. Being able to say, yeah, cool, these tiny little dragons, don't worry about them. They're not that big of a deal. By the way, as things go on, they are going to become incredibly powerful. Goodbye, opponents. I love how you brought this commander to life. Congratulations again, Ty L, on your 6th place finish. Next up, though, we're moving on to Skort Ceci's 5th place finish with Ygritte of the Free Folk, a 2/4 human ranger with flash and reach for 3 mana in Gruul. You know nothing. Oh my goodness, I love that. Whenever an opponent draws their 2nd card each turn, they discard a card. Up to 1 creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the discarded card's mana value. Ygritte of the Free Folk gets +1 for each land card in your opponent's graveyards. And this is what Scorsese had to say about the design. Ygritte is a child of the wildlings north of the wall, and if the wildlings aren't Gruul, then no one is. I agree. Ygritte seeks to punish your opponent's overzealous card draw while buffing your creatures in the process. She could serve as a good commander in any Gruul deck, particularly in a Voltron strategy. You capitalize on her ability using forced card draw and global wheel effects to really pile on the damage. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, saying, yeah, go ahead and draw some cards, but when you do, you gotta pay the toll. And when you do that, I am going to be giving creatures quite a bit of power, and of course I can force those cards to be drawn. There are ways to do that, wheel effects as well, and sure, let's get some lands in your graveyard too, and once that happens, I'm going to be hitting super hard. So yes, I love this design. Really encapsulates Ygritte, and yes, congratulations again, Scorsese, on your 5th place finish. But now we are moving on to 4th place from Crumble Butter. We get Jaime Lannister Kingsguard, a 6/3 human soldier with first strike for 4 mana in total, 1 red, white, and black. When Jaime Lannister Kingsguard dies, discard your hand. If one or more cards are discarded this way, return Jaime Lannister to the battlefield. Oh my goodness. Let's see what Crumble Butter had to say about the design. It may have been low-hanging fruit, but I tried to design a neat play pattern around Jaime and a mechanic of discarding your hand. Yeah, very clever. I think that version settled. I settled on leads to some interesting deck building versions based around trying to turn downside into an upside. I made Jaime a difficult to stop attacker due to his in-lore reputation and the one with nothing effect on death. So potentially it can be built as a Voltron or around the Hellbent condition. I think a more competitive route is by building around aristocrat style combo. I absolutely agree. There's a lot of cool ways that you can take this, and I love the flavor of, hey, you die, you lose a hand? Yeah, that's just, okay, pretty hilarious. Again, spoilers, but still, you knew there was going to be spoilers in this episode, right? I kind of mentioned it earlier, too. Regardless, bringing it back again and again and again, a relentless commander that can be really hard to deal with, and yeah, if you've got ways to just draw cards, like, hey, my creature dies, draw a card. It's going to be really hard to deal with this one ever permanently. Yes, some combos can be had there too. Absolutely a really cool and interesting design. Congratulations on your 4th place finish, Crumble Butter. But now let's move on to 3rd place from Boros with Arya, daughter of House Stark. That's right, Arya is here! A 0/2 human child noble with first strike for 3 mana in total. Arya gets +X/+0 and has ward X for X the number of ledger creatures you control. Whenever the ledger creature you control dies, if it wasn't sacrificed or destroyed by an effect you control, exile Arya. Return to the battlefield transformed at the beginning next upkeep, and it transforms into Arya, Blade of Vengeance. So cool. 1/4 human assassin, haste, first strike, menace. Gets +X/+0 and has ward X for X the number of ledger creatures in all graveyards, not just your own, all graveyards. Pay 2, you may have Arya become a copy of target ledger creature card in a graveyard, accepts a 1/4 and keeps all of its abilities. Oh my goodness. Let's hear what Boros had to say about the design. This was a tough challenge for me since I only know Game of Thrones through second-hand experiences, but I found the story of Arya a fascinating one. Daughter of a king, protected by those above her for a time, then cast out and forced to fend for herself. I tried to capture this story by giving her a ward and a buff on the front. Then when another creature is killed by an opponent, she becomes a full-on assassin with the ability to clone creatures in graveyards, which reflects her skills as a faceless man. As for legendary creatures, seem like a fun theme for a series such as significant characters, and I think she'd be a fun card to pilot. Yes, absolutely. My goodness, this design is incredible. Saying, yeah, okay, I'm just not really that big of a threat on the front, but as soon as things flip, as soon as you touch one of my other legendary creatures, there's gonna be a problem. So being able to turn over to that world beater on the back, yeah, sign me up for that. A really cool design. Congratulations, Boros, on your 3rd place finish. But now, 2nd place, Spaceman in Space has designed Bran Stark 3-Eyed Raven, a 0/4 human noble druid for 3 mana in total in Bant. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may foretell cards from the top of your library. Its foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, go target creature gains indestructible until your next turn. And this is what Spaceman in Space had to say about the design. I'll admit, I only really watched the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, so my reference for Bran was mostly him being pushed out of a window, which, yeah, would be a very different card. After doing some research into his character, I found him to be an interesting character, all wargaming and stuff. Read your future with foretell and possess creatures to either protect them or force from creative combat. Either way, maybe with Bran, you will have what it takes to sit on the Iron Throne. My goodness, foretelling off the top of your library, that is perfect for the 3-Eyed Raven. I absolutely love it. Goading creatures, giving them indestructible. I love that too. It's just such a cool combination. So flavorful, so fantastic. A really interesting and unique Bant deck. What's not to love about this one? Congratulations, Spaceman in Space, on your 2nd place finish. But now the moment that you've all been waiting for, 1st place finish from Blind Fremen. We've got Peter Littlefinger Baelish. Oh my goodness. 1/3 human noble for 3 mana in total. Enters the battlefield. Target opponent becomes the monarch. So flavorful. Chaos is a ladder. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller exiles the top card of defending player's library face down. They may play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and they may spend mana as though of any color to cast it. And this is what Blind Fremen had to say about the design. Littlefinger is the ultimate political schemer in Game of Thrones. operating behind the scenes, he navigates the treacherous Game of Thrones with cunning and manipulation. This card is like a cross between the designs of Gix and Gonti. Players are encouraged to attack your opponents for their own covert card advantage. And what better way to start things off by gifting away the Monarch? Your own deck will benefit from small evasive creatures and a bit of ramp. Finally, a non-degenerate, excessive excuse to play Dark Ritual. Absolutely! Getting things started off with a bang with this commander, just saying, hey, you're the target. And other players like, oh, that's the target. And then I get benefits from that. Oh my goodness. Being able to incentivize all these schemes, I love it. I love the politics of it. It encapsulates Peter Baelish Littlefinger so perfectly. Congratulations again, Blind Fremen, on your amazing design and first place finish. But now, as this episode is coming to a close, again, another massive thank you to all the amazing folks out there at Custom Dragon Highlander. Thank you for your incredible designs, voting and deciding on the top 10 amazing commanders. Thank you, Alno, for putting all this together. And again, if you are interested in joining this amazing community, make sure you check out that Discord invite link in the description below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.